I want to show you guys the new tool that I've just invested in for the shop, and it's a sky hook that will be used for used on the lathe or the mill for picking up chucks, vices, or heavy work pieces. And I've got to admit, I had a lot of influence on this tool right here because of both Aaron Durda, Always Sunny in the Shop, and John Saunders over at NYC CNC. Now I know John invested one a couple years ago, and he got the model that actually is mounted on a mobile cart that's got counterweights on there, and he uses his for loading and unloading those big heavy aluminum fixture plates on his CNC. So it's a nice usable tool for single operation. You know, it's one person operation. If you've got something that's kind of heavy, keeps people from hurting their back and having to bend over, you know, over machinery. And then, you know, I think it was a couple months back, Aaron actually bought one for the same reason, like I was thinking about getting one to use on his lathe to be able to pick up those chucks, because those chucks on our Monarch lathes are just, they're super heavy. And I have to take mine off every now and then, and that's one reason why the forge jaw pretty much stays on the Monarch, because it's so heavy. And I used to be able to lug those things pretty easy, but they're getting heavier, and it's harder on my back and my body whenever I have to do that, pick those things up, those chucks, you know, and then set them down on the bed somewhere. This tool right there is going to eliminate all that heavy weight from me having to pick up and bend over that machine. So whenever I saw Aaron show his that he bought, I was like, man, I really want to get one of those. Now I've seen Skyhook in sales catalogs for years, you know, and I never really give it a lot of thought, but I always had it in my mind. I was like, that's a pretty neat tool. That is a nice usable tool, especially if you're around a machine that does not have any kind of jib or gantry or overhead crane, you know, to be able to lift things. And that's what these are designed for. This one's good for 500 pounds, although they safety test them at the factory for 125% of what they're rated for. So they actually load test this 625 pounds for 10 minutes before it leaves the factory. So these things are they're made in USA. It's all 100% made in USA, and they pride themselves on sourcing everything they can made in USA. You know, whatever products that they attach to it, maybe the hand wheels, things like that. But I know the gearbox, the hand wheel, all the tube, you know, all this stuff is all made in USA, and they try to keep all their products all made in USA. They are out of Emmett, I believe it's Emmett, Idaho. I'm sorry, and that's where their factory is based up there. And they make several different products, not just this one. Now this one is for the tool post. I'll show you this. I'll get you down there where you can see this. I actually contacted them through their website and told them that I was interested in one of their products, but I wanted to see if I could get the base custom machine to fit my tool holders. So this is one of my tool holders that I use right there on both lathes. You know, this is the multi-fix style or 40 position. So this right here will hold 1.25 inch tool. And so what they did, they worked with me, and we custom designed, or they custom designed a base here to fit my machines. This is actually the print that they sent me right there after our discussions, and I had to sign off on that. So this shows the dimensions of the base there. 4.8 inches long, and then the shank, which would be the tool, is 1.25 inches tall. All right, so we will be using it for these guys right here. It'll clamp right in that tool holder and then mount on the tool post, and I'll be able to use that to pick up my chucks and move them off. Or if I've got, say, a big heavy shaft or a big workpiece, I can use it for the same thing. I don't see myself ever taking it to the load capacity there, 500 pounds, but it is capable of doing that. And I think it's, from what I see so far, this is a fine product. Everything looks good on it. They've got it labeled. They got a QC Pass sticker on there. Very cool stuff. So the company is actually called Cyclone ATTCO Services, and they don't just make this model right here. This is one of their models, but they've actually got a lot of different models. They got floor models. They've got some with bases that you can bolt onto a piece of equipment. maybe the back of your truck. I know I saw one that goes like in your receiver hitch, so you can pick up things and put it in your pickup truck. And they custom design them for people's applications too. If you need something for a specific application, you know, you need it a certain height, reach, things like that, they will custom design one specifically for your application. So I am really excited about getting this thing in use. I've already got, I know that I've got I need to take the vise off the mill after this job I'm working on, and I'm wanting to use it for that. But let me get you a little closer and kind of see what's going on here with it. So they've got two different models of brake that you can get, and I opted for the clutch brake, and they also have a friction brake, and I believe the friction brake is the one that Aaron got, which actually has a lever that you push to release the brake while you work the hand wheel. But this one just has a brake just automatically built in, so you don't have to worry about it. You just crank this thing that way to bring it up, and then when you're ready to go down, you just go down. I can't really, since it's laying down flat, it's hard to do that. But you just reverse it like that whenever you're ready to go down with it. Another one of the options on it is you can either opt for the roller chain, which is what I have right there, or you can get cable. But whenever I was asking them what they thought, they definitely recommended going with the roller chain there. Got a forged in USA hook on there as well, and it does swivel there. As it's being used right there, I was just giving you a demo. You go to lower it, just crank it counterclockwise, and clockwise to go up, and it automatically brakes, so you don't have to worry about it unspooling. So one of the bonuses for me, having this tool block right here designed for 1¼ inch for the multi-fix to go on, I also wanted to be able to use this on the mill table. I've had this tool holder here, tool post, in my cabinet for years. This used to be Dad's. I don't know what they ever used it for or what it come off of. I think it's off of a tracer attachment actually, but anyway, I can also use this on this base there as well, and all I got to do is just take this guy right here and bolt it down to the mill table, and then I can mount this sky hook right there on that and be able to use it over on the mill to take the big vices off, or maybe load a heavy workpiece up there. So that was an added benefit of having this machine to 1¼ inch, so you know it would fit both of these different style tools there. I want to get over there and show it to you mounted up on the lathe, but we got a couple more things that goes with it here I want to show you. I did want to point off, they've got a really nice owner's manual right there, and everything has a serial number, so it's tracked as well. But just a really nice owner's manual that goes with it. So they were really excited about working with me on this particular skyhook for my application, and just as a way of saying thank you for the business there, they threw in 2 gifts to go with it, and one of them, they've got serial numbers on these as well. So the first one is this vice hook that they manufacture to go along with it as an accessory, and you can use these on your mill vices, so you can just bolt them right into your mill vise and then hook it right there in the center and be able to easily use the sky hook to pick up your mill vise. So that was an awesome gift right there. I actually made a modification to the bolts on the big TMX vise so that I can use these bolts right here. I actually will run these through the vice hook and into the socket head bolts that's already screwed into the vise, and be able to hold it that way right there. All right, so very awesome. Made in USA. They even got a model number on that, and load limit 500 pounds. So that was awesome. That's going to be super handy. And then the last one right there, this one too has got a serial number on it. So this is their chuck hook right here. I haven't opened this one up yet, but so this is what you can use to pick up your chucks. So you would open up your scroll chuck or 4-jaw, whichever one you're going to use, and clamp it down on this, and then you reach over the top with the sky hook and grab it right there, and that'll easily be able to take your chuck right on off the lathe. So very cool. Made in USA, load limit 300 pounds. Very nice. Awesome little gifts from Skyhook to go along with it. kind of be in this manner here. Be able to tighten that up. All right. So I'll be able to just take the vise hook and just lay it right on the inside of the jaw, and just use these bolts here to bolt it in to hold it on, because these bolts themselves are too big for the slot, the size that they cut it. I would have to mill these out just a little bit, enough for that bolt to go in there. And also I would have to have longer bolts, because by the time you stick this plate on there and then run this bolt through, you're not going to be, you got to go through the vise jaw, and you wouldn't be catching the threads there. So I just thought this was probably the most simplest solution right there. That's the bolts I'm talking about. You can see what I mean. By the time you start catching thread right there, you're already going to be too short by the time you put that plate on. So I wanted it to where I didn't have to fuss with taking these bolts out every time. I'm just going to leave them in there and just be able to run the 3/8 bolts in there to bolt the vise hook on. Where's he at? There it is. Just kind of get it eyeballed in the center, and we'll be able to tighten it up a little, just like that. Perfect. Now you can, once you pick it up, you can move this jaw around as you need to kind of distribute the weight center on there to make it kind of pick up level whenever you go to grab it. Well, here it is mounted up in the Monarch so that you can see what it's going to be, how it's going to be used. You can see there we are mounted in the tool post. They got a nice fit on that guy right there. So keep in mind, if you've got a specific application you would like to use this on right there, just contact them and they will custom design this to fit your needs. They do have a standard one. They got one that fits on a lower style tool post. I believe that's the one that Aaron bought, but this one was designed just for my tool post right there. So you can see, like if I go to take this chuck off, there's the threaded eye right there, or you can use the chuck hook that they supplied with it, and you can just move your carriage on down to wherever you need to line up your chuck, pick it up, and then move it off out of the way. This thing does spin 360 degrees, so you can go all the way around with it if you want to. That's going to be super sweet to have. I'm looking forward to using it whenever I need to take the chuck off. We may do a demo anyway, just take the chuck off and, you know, just use it for the first time to see what it's going to be like. I know one of the comments that I'll probably get in the video is, you know, about this right here, how it's mounted, and because I know Aaron said that he's had some few people leave comments about that you're going to break your tool post or your compound or your cross slide. You know, that's one of the things that I brought up to the guys there at Skyhook, was the you know, the engineering involved and how safe it was to be able to lift up. You know, say you went to 500 pounds, you know, is that safe for your machine? Not the Skyhook, but the machine itself. And they assured me that this thing has been tested and proven time and time again that you're not going to break that. One of the things that they pointed out was, think about what kind of load this is on your tool post and your cross slide and your compound when you're using this to make really heavy cuts. And you know, I've showed on this machine right here taking a 1/2 inch at a time. Just think about how much pressure is on this tool in this position when I'm removing a 1/2 inch of metal on a shaft. That is a lot of tool pressure on that. So I have to believe in them guys that they engineered it, and they're not going to steer somebody wrong, because they have a reputation to uphold of making a good product. If you're using it to pick up something like this, some static weight, I don't see where you're going to be breaking anything over here on your machine. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that, because I know it's going to be a subject in the comments of the video. But I trust them, and I'm looking forward to putting it to the test and seeing how it works. I want to go ahead and give it a test for the first time. So we've already got the cam locks loose on the four-jaw right here. All we gotta do is just kind of bump it loose with the taper. So let's go ahead and see how it does. I opted to use the eye bolt here instead of the chuck hook for now. But the chuck hook will work perfect for the scroll chucks, like over on the Victor, because I take that 6-jaw off quite often, and that's where we'll be using that all the time. But this cushion, most of your big chucks have a tapped hole in there, even some of your small ones, but usually you can just put an eye bolt in there and do it that way. So, be ready to go. Let's go ahead and knock her loose. There we go. So let's see. Just trying to get it straightened. There we have it. Look at that. Let's see how it feels picking it up. There's definitely a little weight on it. There you go. See, once it got, you can feel it stop. So, yeah, just lower it down the other way. Very cool. Go and swing it off over here out of the way, and then we can lower it down. Let's act like we're going to take it off. Got plenty of room to clear the lathe. Set it right on down on the ground, just like that. And say you wanted to go, you're going on with your 3-jaw or 6-jaw, whatever. Have it over here. Put these on a little cart where you can roll it over here, pick it up, and grab it with the sky hook, and let's pick it up. Never have I been able to pick up that chuck and install it in such ease. Let's go ahead and mount it back up there. I want to point out we've already wiped the chuck really clean. We've also wiped the spindle very clean too, so we are ready to go. So just use your carriage here and the sky hook to line it up. Man, this just feels like gold now, being able to do it like this. This is so cool. Just line it right on in, just like that. Got one sucked in there, so now the chuck is held. Go ahead and lower it off. All right, we can move that around. Move it off out of the way. And let me go ahead and tighten up the rest of the cam locks here so that I don't forget. Super simple and easy. I'm gonna love having that thing. I want to show you how it's going to work over here on the mill too. I've been currently setting up a job. There's that prism straight edge that I'm going to be machining for Lance, and I believe I'm going to take the vise off to do one of the ops on it. So this is that tool block that I said that I had that was Dad's. It's been in the cabinet. We've never used it for anything. And I've got a T-nut and a stud right here. Very super simple. We can just bolt it right on down to the mill table just like this. And we will have us a mill mounted crane for picking up these vices. Just clamp it down like that. Now I'll go get the sky hook and we'll mount it right in there. All right, I'm just resting the boom on my shoulder here. And just set it down in there just like that. Go ahead and run the screws down by hand, and then that'll hold it. And I'll go ahead and snug it down. Just like that. Boom. Mill mounted sky hook. All right, there we are, mounted up on the table. Here you can get a little better look at the tool block. This is going to be awesome for moving these. This 8-inch milling vise is extremely heavy, and I usually do it by hand. I grab it. I don't bend my waist. I just I just grab it and kind of hold position, and then I'll take it and I'll walk over there with it or wherever. But now I've got that hydraulic table I can bring through here and just set right here in front of the mill table. And then we'll take the sky hook, come over here, just position the vise where you need it. We can have this guy bolted in there to the jaws and just pick it right on up with the sky hook and then set it right over onto the table right here. That is going to be sweet. And also, if I've got a big heavy workpiece that we got to work on, pick it right up off the cart and set it on the mill table. So that is cool. I'm really excited to have this. This is an investment for yourself. Any kind of material handling devices and tools you can have, for the better. You know, just like the A-frame that I got there, the gantry crane. If you got a bridge crane, even a cherry picker, which I use outside. But this is going to be nice to have and be able to use. I'm really excited to have that. So there we go. I'm getting ready to do this prism job right now, and then once we get done with this, I've got to move the vise off, and I will show you guys taking this TMX vise off of here using the sky hook. I'm ready to get the vise off of the mill table here, so we're going to use the sky hook for the first time over here on the K&T mill and show you how nice it is being able to have this, to be able to pick this thing up and not have to like grab it with my back. I've also got one of these hydraulic lift carts that I'm now using to like move heavy things around the shop. So I'll pick it up from here and just set it right there on the cart. Got it nice and level there, so get it picked up. It's super easy just to swing it over here out of the way. We'll go ahead and roll the cart up. Just like that. Let's go the other way with it. See how easy it is to lower it? Just like that. Bring that back off out of the way, and there we go. Now I can move the vise off out of the way and get back over here to the mill. So I'm really going to enjoy having this. This is a super handy tool. It's going to save my back, and being able to pick up this kind of stuff is going to make it a lot nicer.